Hi, I'm Steve McConaughey, and I'm the Educational Consultant here at ADM. In today's webinar, I would like to explain in detail the procedure for building a crown retention post using multiple fiber-reinforced composite pins. During our webinar, we will learn about building posts with pins, when fiber-reinforced composite pins are the correct choice, and a step-by-step guide to constructing the Dentapreg PINPost from beginning to end. The entire webinar will take about 10 minutes. If you have any further questions that won't be answered during this webinar, have a look at our website, dentapreg.com, or contact us at support@dentapreg.com. So how do pin posts work? In physics, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, and this principle holds true in occlusion. The masticatory forces create stress. This stress is able to be handled by metal or titanium posts, or rigid prefabricated fiber-reinforced posts. However, they're all placed in the middle of the pulp chamber, where there was originally no stress. You have to keep in mind that the root canal is already weakened by up to 60% due to the extra drilling needed for the prefabricated post. This can cause fractures and jeopardize the overall reliability of the application. The minimally invasive solution is to respect the original anatomical shape of the root canal and the biomechanics of the sound tooth by placing the number of pins that are required for each individual clinical case. You've probably faced some problems with conventional endodontic posts. During the drilling process, perforation of the wall of the root canal is a cause for concern. In some cases, perforation would inevitably lead to the extraction of the tooth, which is costly and time-consuming. Furthermore, because the root canal has been weakened by up to 60%, root fracture caused by a wedge effect may be a cause for failure of the application in the long term. That is why the minimal invasivity of the pin post is the modern option when considering the long-term reliability of crown retention posts. What are some of the features of Dentapreg PINposts? A crown retention post made from Dentapreg PINpost combines all of the desirable properties. They are clinically reliable thanks to the perfect combination of incredibly strong glass fibers and a unique resin. Technology derived from the production of composite materials for the aerospace industry are used in the manufacture of the pins. These glass fibers give Dentapreg PINposts their unique strength and stability in the moist oral environment. Due to the fact that no extra drilling is required, using pin posts is less time-consuming and more minimally invasive. This allows the resulting post to be very subtle. Dentapreg has the highest strength in its class. Through extensive research and development, we have found the resin, which is the most ideal partner to the fibers. The glass fibers, pre-impregnated with the resin, due to its chemical composition, are compatible with all light-curing adhesive systems and composites. When working with Dentapreg, it is therefore possible to use whichever light-curing composite you prefer. By pre-impregnating the pins, the resin is combined on a molecular level. This is one of the main reasons Dentapreg has gained such popularity among dentists. The pins, 0.45 millimeter diameter, allows the dentist the freedom to adapt to the actual clinical situation and respect the anatomical structure of the patient's root canal, while at the same time providing the strength required for long-term crown retention. These specific attributes of Dentapreg are the reason for the extraordinarily high ratings by independent experts. We can point to the example of the recent evaluation by CRA, which states that 100% of dentists would recommend this product to a friend. Now we'll explain in detail the complete procedure for making endodontic posts with Dentapreg PINposts. Remove the gutta percha filling from the pulp chamber using a suitable size nitty file. All of the endodontic filling material must be removed from the length of the preparation except for at least 0.5 millimeter of gutta percha at the apex of the root. Rinse the canal with water and dry carefully with paper points. The working area should be isolated from moisture as much as possible. The use of a rubber dam is highly recommended. Measure the depth of the prepared canal using an endodontic instrument or a periodontal probe, keeping in mind the height of the coronal structure. The top of the pin should reach to 2/3 of the height of the crown. This option requires an extra step, but saves on the amount of material used. It is also possible to use the entire pin without measuring the depth of the canal. This option is faster, but requires more material. Use a standard adhesive procedure, etching, bonding, etc. If you do not want to make a standard adhesive procedure, use a dual cure self-adhesive resin cement in the next step. If a measurement of the canal was taken, remove the pin post from the storage bottle and cut it with sharp scissors to the required length. Here you can use whichever type of scissors you prefer. No special tools are required. You can use the rest of the pin post if it has sufficient length. If no measurement was taken, you should use the whole pin. Apply a thin layer of resin cement onto the pin post surface. Insert it into the canal. Repeat steps 6 through 8 as necessary, 4 to 6 pins per canal depending on its width. Don't worry if the tops of the pins are not absolutely even. They'll be cut to the correct height a little later on in the procedure. Clean the overflowing cement in the flaring area. Light cure according to the manufacturer's instructions. Again, feel free to use whichever light curing cement you prefer. Build the crown core from either flowable or crown and bridge composite, and then apply an adhesive system on the top of the pins. Light cure it according to the manufacturer's instructions. If the pins are too long, you can shorten them using a diamond burr. If necessary, you can further reinforce the composite crown by placing a mesh made of Dentapreg UFM, which serves to deconcentrate stress and can help prevent the cracking of the cusp. If you decide this step is necessary, then put a thin layer of flowable composite, then place the UFM mesh in the composite, and finally light cure it for 40 seconds. Construct the crown as you normally would, using your preferred method and composite. Now we'll see a short summary of the entire procedure in this short video. Pin posts are available in two different packages. The basic package contains 4 tubes of 12 pins each. The pins are 0.45 millimeters in diameter and 20 millimeters long. The fibers are unidirectional. In addition to the 48 pins, you will also receive all the relevant literature you'll need to get started using pin posts immediately. The smaller package, a mini refill, which is 1 tube containing 12 pins of the same dimensions, plus instructions. For pricing and orders, visit our online shop at dentapreg.com, which is open for those countries where we don't have distributors, or you may contact us on our email. Again, you'll find all this information on dentapreg.com. Dentapreg PINPosts can be stored for up to 5 years. They may be stored at room temperature. Obviously, you should avoid extreme temperatures below freezing or extreme heat. If using UFM as a mesh, then UFM may be stored for up to 3 years. It is also possible to store open blisters in the provided light safe box for up to 2 weeks without deteriorating the properties of the mesh. We would recommend storing open blisters in a dark, cool place, preferentially in a refrigerator. This minimizes the risk of monomer evaporation and allows you to use the rest of the unused strip for other applications. Let's take a closer look at some clinical cases using Dentapreg PINPost. Due to the miniature diameters of the pins, we can conveniently use them in cases when the crown is not completely destroyed and there is still original tooth tissue. Using standard prefabricated posts requires removing all the crown to put the post into the root canal. But by using the thin pins, we are able to preserve the original tissue. We would like to thank Dr. Schunemann from Germany for these clinical pictures. Pin posts could be used for caulking of the traditional post in situations when the root canal is very wide, for instance incisors. This gives the possibility to stabilize the post in the root canal. In the pictures from Dr. Buching from Germany, we can also see the other advantage of pin posts is that they can also be used as parapulpal posts when the flaring area of the crown is missing and treatment with traditional posts is impossible. We can demonstrate this with a story from Dr. Volum. The patient, a close personal friend, had a bridge from the canine to the wisdom tooth. One day the bridge was cracked. The number 6 canine was destroyed. However, the root canal was fortunately intact. So Dr. Volum decided to perform a parapulpal post using Dentapreg PINPosts and build a new core for the abutment teeth in order to create a solid bridge. Half a year later, the wisdom tooth was also damaged. So he simply did a parapulpal post to the wisdom tooth as well. The solution saved a lot of money for the patient, and this was 4 years ago, and the bridge is still functional without any further complications. Again, you can visit dentapreg.com for answers to any questions you may have that have not been answered in this webinar.